Fit check. Drippy. Timvily.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about what I'm glad I knew before I started college. I learned a lot from a lot of different spaces that I was a part of throughout high school, and these are some things that really stuck with me throughout my first semester of college that I'm really glad that I learned. I do want to say that all of the things I'm very glad that I knew before going to college are very specific to my own experiences, because I've had a lot of privilege to, one, be able to go to college, to be able to go to a private institution, and to have a whole bunch of resources available to me. That has been a very great privilege, and also just not having to worry about childcare or being in a long-term partnership throughout college, just because I know that everyone has different college experiences. I've had the privilege to go out of state for college, to live on my own throughout undergrad. It's been a lot of privilege that I've had to be able to go to school under these different circumstances, and I just wanted to acknowledge that before I jump into my list. The first thing I'm glad someone told me was that I belong here. Before I decided what school I was going to, I was just visiting around different schools, trying to see what vibes, what feels right. That was one of the things I was constantly told at many of the different places that I was visiting, at a lot of the different colleges I was going to. And I was like, okay, I know I belong there, I applied, and if I get in, of course I belong. But no, there were plenty of moments in my undergrad career where I was like, okay, am I actually supposed to be here? I'm having trouble relating to people within my major. Before starting undergrad, someone told me that I belonged here, and I think hearing that was just kind of like, okay, now I need to affirm this to myself constantly, because there were definitely moments where I felt like I didn't belong here. I think before coming to college, just being affirmed of all the work that I had done throughout high school to get here was very helpful, because I was like, you know what, you're right. I did do that in high school. I did try my best. I did participate in different things to build up skills, so I do belong at this college. Even if the way that people treat me sometimes or look at me makes me feel like I don't belong here, I do. Next thing I'm glad people told me is to not expect your roommate to be your best friend, because I definitely had a very tricky roommate experience where just politically we were on two different spectrums during our first year, so that didn't play out as as one would have hoped, but it was really nice to just be told that from the beginning. Don't come in with this expectation that you're going to be best friends with someone just because you live with them. The goal is to be able to live with each other in a civilized manner and to communicate appropriately if something is not right. Next thing I was told was to go to office hours. That advice was great, and I'm grateful someone told me that, because as I'm thinking about my last semester of undergrad, some of the strongest relationships that I built throughout college were with my professors. They're just so helpful to figure out what actions you need to take to really perform well in the class. If you have no idea how to pass that calculus class, definitely go to office hours and ask, hey, how should I be approaching this class? Should I give certain assignments more priority over others if I'm running low on time? Definitely office hours are great, and outside of just asking about academics, it's really cool to also get to know the professor teaching the course, because they also went through undergrad. They were in your shoes, kind of, maybe. Probably don't carry the same identities as you, but they definitely went through their undergraduate career to get to where they are now, and it's just really cool to hear about what obstacles they experienced, and in some ways they may have privilege that you might not have if you are not white or cisgender. The next thing I'm glad someone told me was that it is going to be challenging to adjust academically, and that is so true. Even though someone told me this, I still came in thinking I got A's throughout high school, I'll be fine. And then I come into this college and I fail my first exam, and then I end up failing my first class, and I was like, yo.
This is fine. I'm okay with the events that are unfolding currently.
It's just challenging, and you're gonna have to find ways to build tools to really navigate the academics. Like, what do you need to do differently? Do you need to schedule your study sessions? Do you need to better manage your time? Do you need to spend less time socializing, which was my problem? And do you need to drop how many extracurriculars you're involved in? That was also my problem. So just being told from the get-go, like, hey, academically, this is not going to be as easy as you are thinking it might be, and just be prepared for that. So I appreciate that. The last thing someone told me that I'm grateful that they told me is your long distance relationship might not work, and that's okay. Coming into college, I was already dating someone from high school, and I graduated with the expectation, like, we're gonna keep dating and we're gonna find a way to make this work, except we didn't, and that is honestly okay. I think there are limitations to long distance dating, especially when you're in a new space, and especially if you don't know how to balance your time, like spending a lot of time with this person on the phone as opposed to spending time engaging with people who you're physically around. But I'm really grateful for the one individual who did tell me that, you know what, like, this LDR, long distance relationship, might not work, because it just opened up my mind to that being an option, like the option to walk away. At first it felt like, wow, this is a really great relationship. But stepping back and being in a whole new space and recognizing that there were so many different parts of myself that I didn't like, or not that I didn't like, different parts of myself that I definitely had to grow from, or, you know, nourish differently. It was really good to step away from dating and romantic relationships, and to really figure out, like, who am I? What are the things that bother me? What are the things that frustrate me? What are the things I enjoy about life and family and friends? And just really disconnect a little bit and not feel like I have to be with this person just because we dated for some time. Not feel like because I was in that one geographic region for such a long time that I have to continue carrying parts of myself that I cultivated in this region, because then I didn't feel limited by who I thought I was supposed to be. So yes, I'm really grateful that coming into college, someone had already taken the time to tell me, hey, you're in this relationship now, but it might not work out. If and when it doesn't work out, there's still so much that you can do. Like, you're a whole person. There's so much depth to you. Go figure that out, basically. I'm glad someone told me to take advantage of resources, because the summer after my first year, I got to go to London and go visit power plants and stuff, and that was so cool because I didn't have the expectation to study abroad at all. Like, I could care less at the time. So definitely taking advantage of resources like that. Other resources like the gym. Like, the gym is free for us at this institution, for students of this institution. So taking advantage of that. Also just the library, like checking out books just to read for fun, even if they're not related to the classes I'm taking. That was really great, and I'm glad that I did that, because I would just check out like 18 books at a time during winter and spring breaks, and it was great. Like, free resources, free learning resources, why not use them? Being in college, this was the first space where I started going to counseling and really working through traumas and past things that influence current things, and just unpacking that, taking advantage of those kinds of resources. And I think those are the main resources that I'm really glad I learned about and used throughout college. Yes, these are all the things I'm grateful someone took the time to tell me prior to starting college, and so I've compiled it for you. Hopefully it is also helpful for you. And yes, thank you for watching. Let me know if there are any specific videos you would like to see, and have a great Friday.
It don't even matter if today was the worst day. Just remember what you can say. That we breathe in, just breathe out, and we breathe in, just breathe out.